Welcome to another program we call Perspectives El Paso. I'm Leon Blevins of El Paso Community College Television. As you can see, I'm dressed as Chico, the mariachi dancer. I've been a classroom teacher for many years, just retired from 53 years of teaching in the classroom. But also during those years, I've been an actor. Actually became a dance performer for part of my career. I'm dressed this way as Chico because today I have a special guest, Olga Chavez, who is with the diversity program at El Paso Community College. Now, I apologize for my voice. This is almost mid-September of 2016, and I have a sinus infection, and the doctor put me on antibiotics. So maybe within this 27 minutes of this interview, I would become perfectly well because I'm sitting behind a lovely lady, Olga Chavez.
Hello. Thank you, Leon.
A colleague together for many years here at Community College. What year did you start teaching here or working here?
I started working in '75.
Okay, well, I started in '72. And so at that time, there was a group that put together under Dr. Alfredo de los Santos, our first president of this college, some activities about Hispanic heritage. And I remember being in some meetings where there were big debates about what to call ourselves. Mexican Americans, Mexicans of American ancestry, or Americans of Mexican ancestry, Latinos, whatever. You remember those debates?
I think they are still going on in many respects, but yes, I do. I do remember.
Okay, and so back then, Diaz de la Raza Day, and we brought in guest speakers, our state senators, state representatives, and other officials getting elected, Hispanic females getting elected to office, and so on. It was an exciting time. La Raza Unida had a candidate running for governor of Texas, and so on. So we had a lot of activities, dance, music, and guests. Eventually, it became not just a day, but became longer, a week, and so on, and now it's Hispanic Heritage Month, from the middle of September to the middle of October.
Exactly.
And you are in charge of the diversity program.
Yes, I am.
So tell us about your involvement in some of these activities and about being director of them, and then we'll get to what you put on for this year. Tell us about the background.
Well, thank you very much for having me, first of all. And the work that I've been doing in diversity programs in general is very exciting and very, it keeps me on my toes, if you will, because we're always trying to keep on the latest issues regarding diversity, and everything involves diversity, and you see it every day in the news. So part of our structure is incorporating certain cultural days, and we have Hispanic Heritage Month, and you're correct. We have been doing formalized monthly events for 15 years. This is our 15th year. And we keep expanding it. We have it at different campuses. At least we try to have most of our activities at all the campuses, and our campuses keep growing. So as you can tell, we have more of a challenge to make sure that we can accommodate. So this year is no different, and we had started out with the events. September 16th is our first event. And like all other years, we concentrate this as a kickoff to Hispanic Heritage. And with that, we have a fiesta type of environment where we'll have music and loteria and food and some song. But although we've had that through different years, our goal was to put an academic touch to it. And then, so that this could be videotaped and it could go into the classroom, so that individuals who didn't see it at that particular time, or if in fact we have kind of like a library that we can show people if they, you had so-and-so as a speaker, academic, yeah, we'd like to use that.
Now our crew that's doing this program right now, they're a big part of that, putting it together for you.
They did, and because of them, we have been able to videotape most of the events we've had throughout these years. So we're starting September 6th with that fiesta type feeling. We're moving on September the 27th, and we're going to be having an event that deals with veterans, the legacy of our veterans. More importantly, the legacy of deported veterans. And we're going to have videos, we're going to have a panel made up of attorney, organizers, veterans, and we're going to just talk about this issue.
Now you have these in line here.
Yes, yes.
And they're on different campuses. I know I went to the one on Veterans last year, and it was
Yes.
at the Trans Mountain campus.
Right. Well, let me back up then. The first one on the 16th is at Rio Grande campus. That is
Okay.
the one downtown.
Good to make that point.
Right, and it's from 10 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Then the second one that I mentioned with the Veterans event, Untold Stories, this is September 27th at the Valle Verde campus, which is probably the largest campus, and we have it from 10 to 2 at the cafeteria, cafeteria annex. And we have one that we don't show here, but because we decided to add it, on September 29th here at the Administrative Service Center, we have partnered with KCOS, and we are going to be showing a documentary film.
Okay, you got a little note there about that.
Yes, if I may. It's we are going to be doing a documentary on Willie Velasquez, and Willie Velasquez is deceased, but we are showing all his efforts, and his efforts were encouraging and educating people on voting, that they look at the rights that they have as a voter, and that we encourage people to vote.
And he took you a number of cases to court with regard to voting rights.
Yes, he did, and a lot of people don't know about him, and so KCOS has been very cordial to work with us in order to have the film here, to have the filmmaker here, and to have a couple of other panelists that will be coming to discuss this issue.
Are you going to discuss that in their studio?
We are going to be having it here at ASC in the auditorium.
ASC in the auditorium.
In the auditorium,
Okay.
yes.
Again, the 20 what?
The 29th.
29th.
Yes, it's on a
ASC.
Thursday.
Since that's not on here, it's important.
Yes, we
get that
added
out.
that. That's why it's not. But
Okay,
yes,
so
they are
then-
going to be adding that.
Well, it's thankful for KCOS. They put my program on their station.
Yes, they
That's
did. I
good.
know, and
Okay.
we're trying to work more and more along with them, and hopefully in the future with other
Okay,
endeavors.
the next one?
The one, if I may, I'll go here with the read-ins.
Okay.
Because we tried to get every single campus, and the read-ins are working with faculty and students, and the students develop a poem or a short story relating to Hispanic heritage, and they will get up before an area and read them, have an opportunity to read to an audience. So that's why it's called read-ins. The faculty and staff are very involved with this effort to promote Hispanic heritage and to see if they have their legacies and what they are, what they're talking about in terms of their own personal interest. And so we have them at all the campuses. They're all 11 to 1, and they have various places. At the Rio Grande campus, we have the little temple. At Mission, we have the outdoor classroom. At Northwest, we have at the library. At Trans Mountain, we have at the foyer. And the Valle Verde campus, it's also October 5th. It will be at the cafeteria annex.
Don't you feel tugged at, all of this going on?
Well,
at all these
it is
You're so
yeah.
small.
Well, no, I'm not. I really have a lot of help. There's a tremendous committee that works with us. I have a few people that work with me in my office, and so all of us make this happen. It isn't any one person, as you know, having been involved, Leon, with so many events and being part of our events as well.
Yeah.
And we invite you to these events.
And sometimes you have sponsors, don't you? I remember I got one of my students that worked with State Farm to come in and work with you.
Well, all these down here are our sponsors. We have several that have come year after year after year. And so we invite them, and obviously they help us financially along with the college. And then I do want to tell you the last one that I have right here, and that is the Mentors Dinner. And that many of you we have been running that one since 2007. And what we do is we select individuals in the community. Many of them are high profile, and some have not been as high profile, who have really made a contribution to Latino community, probably the whole community, but they really have helped in terms of the Latino community, Hispanic community. So this year we're honoring some more. First of all, we're going to have a keynote speaker, and his name is Victor Villaseñor. And he is with us because he is an author who's been a Pulitzer Prize winner. He comes from California. He lives in the San Diego area. And he is, we're very proud of all his accomplishments in his lifetime, having lived in Mexico for some time, I think up till he was 20 years old, and not speaking English, came to the United States, was very interested in writing books and doing this. And he had dyslexia, and he was discouraged in many respects not to write, and you can't be all you can be. And he said, yes, I can be all I can be. And so where did it bring him to? Being a renowned author, and he's going to be our keynote speaker, motivational / keynote speaker.
Well, last year I think the main speaker was Alfredo Corchado.
Corchado, yes.
One of my former students at community college.
Another well-known journalist
and you had
author.
Dolores Huerta a couple of years
Dolores
before
Huerta,
that.
yes. We've been very privileged to have some very renowned individuals who we're very proud of that have come through our doors. And so the people that we are honoring this year, if I may use my cheat notes, we are honoring David L. Carrasco. He, of course, he has passed, but he was executive director of Job Corps for many, many years. And we're hoping that his son comes from Harvard to accept his award, or one of his family members. His mother still lives here. So we hope, or his wife, excuse me, still lives here. So we hope that she comes. We've invited them. And then Fred Loya Sr. from the insurance company. Dr. Diana Natalicio, our president of UTEP. And last but not least, we're doing a special award for the Joe Mora family, and that's Chico's Tacos. The renowned Chico's Tacos.
Really, worldwide.
Worldwide. And then we're fortunate to give, because of our past donors, present donors, some scholarships we'll be giving. This is the second year in a row we've given scholarships. We'll be giving 2 $1,000 scholarships to our students. So we gave 2 out last year and 2 out.
So you advertised for them to fill out application blanks to see if they could get in the pool for that selection? How do you do that?
For the for the scholarship, we have made the announcement within the community college at the financial aid office, and then we are running this online, and they will be able to fill out their application online. It requires that they will give a story about themselves, and there's certain criteria that they will need to, because it's all about legacy. So they will have to tell something about their legacy, and they have certain criteria that they will cover in that legacy. And then a group of individuals will be reviewing those scholarship applications, and then we will make those selections. The committee will. So it keeps growing. We keep adding and we keep adding, and as we keep adding campuses, we try to keep doing, maybe in the future with our other campus coming on board sometime soon, we will be able to do another venture relative to that.
Now, you mentioned you network with some of these businesses and so on that help give you some financial support.
Yes, we do, yes.
What about working with the students? How do you find this? They really start getting excited at some point that they can share their experiences and their heritage?
Yes, I mean, students have been awesome. I have 5 students working with me. And part of what I ask, off and on 5 students. We have 2 interns, 2 work studies, and a STS student who work with us. And I try to get their input, first of all. What do you see the students wanting? Not necessarily what I'm wanting, but what will attract them. they've been very helpful in making some suggestions. I have staff that help with suggestions. Faculty make suggestions based on their students. And from this faculty and from our students, we try to get other students involved, encouraging them to come to these events. Many faculty members give extra credit or give, encourage people to go and at least find out whatever their interest is. We have Dr. Quirios's passport where they can come and get credit for looking at some of these. They get some credit for some points or credit for doing that.
That's part of our quality enhancement program of the students being in the college being a part of the community.
Exactly, yes. And so we try to see what's going to benefit the student, what's going to attract the student, what's going to attract our community, because our community is involved in this. And all of this is free except for our dinner.
Tell us about that. You charge for the mentor's dinner.
We charge for the mentor's dinner. It's $25, and I think that's pretty reasonable for a dinner and to have all of this with our entertainment and stuff like that. But everything else is free. People can come and enjoy and come and leave as they wish.
I know you've had some very effective secretaries working in your office with you. Who's your current secretary that's helping you put this together?
Okay, I have two people that, as I mentioned, with the staff one is Ida Black. Ida Black has been working with me, and of course, the phone never stops ringing or the paperwork never stops, so she's very helpful in that respect. And Michelle Chavez is also a project assistant that's working with me. She's works with me part-time and helping me, and she's also a part-time faculty member that works out of Fabin's students. So those are the two people I have working for me.
Well, why don't you give us a telephone number for people to call so they can connect with this if they want to participate?
It's 831-3324. And also you can go on our website, community college website, and if you type in diversity program, it'll go to our link, and it'll you can get our tickets that way, in that manner, to purchase the tickets for the mentors dinner. It'll also give you all these activities online, as well as show you some of the history and all the years that we've done it. We have tried to archive it as much as we could, so that you could see what we've done in the past.
You mentioned I've been involved with this program.
Yes, you have.
Right. Sometimes it's Uncle Sam, sometimes it's Chico the mariachi dancer. I have pictures with you with these different characters. Carolina Paris, that you visited with today as you came to this program, our office assistant here at the television studio, she's still telling the story that one day when our television studio was very upstairs, fourth floor.
Yes.
And she was looking out the window as we were down there dancing, and I was dancing with you at some point and with Dolores Gross. And she turned to somebody there on the staff with this TV station, and she said, Dolores Gross is down there dancing with a Mexican. Who is that Mexican she's dancing with? And somebody else walks over the window and says, that's not a Mexican, that's Leon Blevins. And so when she's still telling the story all these years later. And I say, well, my skin's white, but mi corazón is Mexican, Hispanic. So I've had a lot of fun with this over the years, and I like to dance. I like to have a good time. But I also like to learn something. I'm still an educator. I love to go to some of these where I'm learning something, such as the Mentor's Dinner. And so anything else we should know about what's happening here with diversity?
Well, like I said, I want to really encourage people to come. I think I appreciate you having me on this show because it shares a little bit more of who we are and what we're doing. And like this, we have other events that really detail academically and give a lot of education for different aspects of diversity and the issues. We're real proud of having done this 15 years. We have a lot of friends because we've done, and they've come in and shared information and education with us. They love our college. They come from out of town, as you've mentioned. They like our community college. We're on the map. One of the, I want to kind of plug is that we, for the last few years, we've received the HEAT Award. And that award is a national award for education and diversity. And this is one of the programs that I think has certainly help us be on the map nationwide. And so, but we do it with bringing people in, and we want to bring them in. And if there's anyone out there that would like to work with us in the future, or that you're a singer, a dancer, you have a film you would maybe like to present, we can talk about that, because that's what we do in planning, or if you'd like to be on our committee, you certainly can call, and we'd like to have you be part of us.
Well, I get asked quite often, including on this program, why I like El Paso, Texas. And I always answer, one of the answers is diversity. It's exciting to teach here. I've taught at other places, it was so homogeneous. There wasn't much diversity. It was much more boring than here in El Paso, where we have the border, we have the military, we have the Native Americans, we have the Anglos, and so on. Now, without us getting into politics, but I do want to raise this issue, and we're not going to talk about Clinton and Trump and all of that kind of stuff, but we know there's an element in this country that does not want us to be diverse. They would like for things to be the way they used to be, overwhelmingly white, overwhelmingly speaking English. And yet more and more we're becoming a more diverse culture. And you're seeing this in your experience of being over the diversity program.
Yes, and you know, part of in my younger years, I lived in Europe. And in Europe, people saw speaking different languages as accolade. You know, many people go to Europe and take a tour. I remember going and taking a tour, and the lady in front of the bus goes, "Okay, who speaks English, who speaks Spanish, who speaks Italian?" And she would rattle on like 10 languages, right? And it was you know, really, yeah. And so whatever a language a person needed to hear this tour, she was very happy to accommodate. And I saw, as a younger person many years ago, how wonderful that was. First of all, because she was talented enough to know all those languages, but more importantly, she was learned to be able to communicate with people. And I think that's an important part of language. You know, that's how you communicate with people, right? And if you can communicate with people in a different language, one that they feel comfortable about, then more power to that person. And that's the same thing with culture. If you share your culture, then people know about your culture, and that should be an accolade. That isn't a diminished thought, but something that everyone should be proud of.
And the more we know of each other, the less we are frightened by them and their differences, whether it's in religion, language, general way people dress, or things of that nature.
And I had, as an example, I had a faculty member that spoke with me and said, you know, I was speaking to a woman that because of her heritage and culture, I wasn't sure how to address her, I wasn't sure what to say, etc. And he says, and with training or education or something, I know I would have felt better. So, you know, diversity strikes everyone and exposes everyone on a daily basis, you know, when we least expect it.
Well, in political science, I've always spoken about controversial issues, that are just controversial issues in political science, and some of them involve national heritage and language and things of that. And if I know I'm going to be discussing some of these things, I'll say, now we're going to be talking about some controversial things. I'm very open about these things, cultures and sexuality and whatever it is that affects political science and public policy making. And usually we have very open discussions in my classes. And of course, I'm retired now. But I like that aspect of it, that we weren't worried about what we were going to be offending people, because it's accepted in our classes here on the border in El Paso, Texas.
And you know, having started before I did, Leon, but you know, during those 70s when we were starting, the majority diversity military, that's what we were about. That's who were our students, were the military. Right. They were our students. A lot of the students later on were our ESL students and our allied health students. Right. So that's how we started, and you know, that's diverse.
Yeah, I was on a selection committee for the second president of the college, Dr. Shepak.
Shepak.
And those that we brought in for the board to interview, these were things that we raised, and I asked them about developing a large number of ESL classes, maybe opening up a literacy center for training people, teaching people, because some people are illiterate in Spanish and English, or they can't read it, but they can just talk it. And so we now have the literacy center. One of my former students helps run some of those, a woman named Laura. I saw her in the hallway just a little while ago. And so I think this is a important thing about El Paso Community College. We're a diverse community and a diverse city. And we appreciate the work that you're doing for your program.
Thank you so much.
One last word. We have about a minute left.
Okay.
Well, I just was notified. We have 3 minutes remaining. Anything we need to know about this year's activities or what you're looking at in the future?
Well, first of all, I invite you to come to these events, and I certainly would like you to be put on one of your costumes and join us to our, especially to our 16th.
Right.
I think I've said I really want to stress the Mentors Dinner. Because this is our way that we do our marketing to really encourage people to come. But more importantly, I want to thank those that have helped for all these 15 years. Many of them may be listening now. I appreciate all the committees and the committee this year, all the speakers that we've had. They take time to come out and volunteer. Specifically this year, we have a lot of faculty that are helping us out in the classroom. I want to thank them because you know, they have, as you know, a lot on their plate, and they've come out and they've helped. So I want to especially thank that committee.
I've had some of your members on this show, and they've talked about they didn't get to see some of the activities because they were busy putting it together.
They were in back doing this.
That's right. Backstage, putting it together. But then saying something like, well, I got to go to the mentors dinner, we helped set it up, and then we got to sit down and eat and listen to the guest speaker.
Well, you know, where the faculty really come in and the one-on-one on those read-ins, they're there.
Oh,
they're
that's
the one.
good. So
yeah, they're there, and they're really orchestrating all of this, and they're doing.
And the people don't just read; there's some interaction.
Oh, yeah, interaction as to what they've said and why they wrote it.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being such a diverse personality.
Well, thank you, and we hope to see you there, okay, Lauren?
Yeah, if I can get over this sinus
because you're
infection,
retired,
I'm sure you're going to
Just because you're retired.
Yeah, and well, I tell people, look, I retired from classroom teaching, but I did not retire from life, and I certainly did not retire from the cultural experiences of El Paso, Texas. Thank you again. And thanks for watching another program we call Perspectives El Paso.